This week we're talking about a wireless slow lane to the cloud with IBM's new project, and the Pi Top finally launches, but not on Kickstarter. Okay everyone, welcome to another episode of µNews, covering the top stories. But before we do that, we need to take care of some shout outs. The first is Arvind Ravuluvaru. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. He has a Jackal of JavaScript website, and this week he put up a project for an Internet of Things doorbell. It was a really nice write-up, lots of information, really well done. So shout out to him, thanks for putting that up. I also want to give a shout out to John and Kelsey from Technical Machine. They are the people who make the Tessel. Had a chance to talk with them this week. Awesome people, really appreciate those guys. Okay, so let's get into the news of the week. First off, we're going to have to start on a heavy note this week. I really didn't want to talk about this. I debated whether to put it in or not, but it wouldn't be a top stories newscast if we didn't at least mention GamerGate. Probably sick of hearing of it, but the Raspberry Pi Foundation tweeted out about GamerGate this week, how they were against it, created a firestorm on the internet of people saying they're no longer going to buy their products. And all I really want to mention about GamerGate, I have read the Wikipedia, I have read other news articles, I wouldn't consider myself an expert. I am still confused about what this is about. Somebody's going to tell me it's about corruption in reporting. Somebody else is going to say it's about misogyny. Like most things on the internet that go viral, this thing has created a polarizing environment. You've got people on both sides, but they're on the extreme sides. And all I just want to say is to anybody out there, we're not always going to agree, and that's okay. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree, but let's just do it civilly. That's all I'm asking. GamerGate, huge story this week. If you want to learn more about it, I'll link up a couple of things down below, but that's it. Let's bring in the showdown. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So let's move on to more upbeat things. The first of which was our first ever piece of subscriber submitted content, and this is coming from Tom Metro, who pointed out a project by SigFox, which is a company out of France, who has made a low power wireless network. Now, this isn't new news. This is actually a few months ago. This is when this got a lot of press. I couldn't find any updates, but anyway, the gist of this is that SigFox has created a very low power, low frequency sensor network, essentially is what it'll be, that you can create devices for that can communicate with their central servers, and then they can push data out to your devices. Now, this is different from things like GPS and Bluetooth. It's extremely low power, very cheap to implement, and the idea is that it's also very low data rate. Not every project out there needs gigabit internet to function. Not every application is a Netflix, and a lot of times with a lot of these embedded projects, they need very little bandwidth. Think of a on-off sensor or a motion detector. You're really talking about a couple of bits, whether it sensed data or not. And so anyway, SigFox is doing this. They're implementing it in Silicon Valley. Hopefully later this year, I think, is the plan. And we will keep you updated as there are updates to that. Okay, the next big story of the week comes out of IBM with their IBM Internet of Things Foundation. Now, this is a new service that they're offering. It's in beta right now that essentially allows you to connect sensors to IBM's cloud. You want to think about things like the SparkFun data service, Ubidots, Pushing Box, things like that, where you can create devices and then push data, normally sensor data, but it doesn't have to be, up to their cloud. You can then run apps to pull that data. Just a push-pull type mechanism where you can send data up, get data back. It's new this week. It is free to sign up. It looks really cool. I checked it out. I haven't created a device yet, but they have a lot of information out there. They have a lot of recipes, is what they're calling them, to create devices out of a Raspberry Pi, a Galileo board, Arduino, BeagleBone, Mbed. All of those. You can even create your own custom device. They'll show you what the protocol is. So really interesting coming out of IBM. Everybody's looking to get a piece of this sensor data market. I mean, that's where it's going to be in the next 5-10 years. People are going to want this right now people want your data as a consumer, but pretty soon they're going to be wanting all the sensor data about you. So IBM making a move in this space. And like I said, it is free to sign up for the beta. During the beta period, your data is only kept on their servers for 7 days, but something that you might want to check out and play around with. Okay, the Pi Top, we've mentioned it a couple episodes before, has finally launched. Not on Kickstarter though, like they said. They have launched on Indiegogo, and you know, I was a little hard on these guys about their approach. I'm still not entirely convinced. You're looking at $209 for a Pi Top. That's without the Pi. You still got to buy your own Pi. And $230 to $270 based on when you got into the backer stages to have one with a Pi in it. Now, those are all sold out right now. There are still a few open to where you can get the Pi Top without a Pi and supply your own, but gosh, I mean, at $200, I'm thinking Google Chromebooks at this point. So that's kind of what I compare it to. A lot of people are disagreeing with me though. They are currently at 116% of their backing goal of $90,000, I think it was, $80,000. Right now they're up to like 90-some thousand dollars in backing, so that project definitely will fund on Indiegogo. If you're interested in getting a Pi Top or what they're doing, you can head on over. We'll link it up below like we normally do. And gotta say, congratulations to the Pi Top folks. Okay, the last thing I want to mention this week is a big time congratulations to the Raspberry Pi Foundation. They are approaching 4 million units sold, which is amazing. This thing has taken off more than I think probably they even expected it to. And just really great to see so many people getting involved with creating embedded electronics and fooling around with small computers. And so congratulations to the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Should be hitting the 4 million mark pretty soon. And that brings us to this week's Tweet of the Week. And the Tweet of the Week honor this week goes to Dave Higgins. Now, before I put his tweet up, I just want to give some background here. The Raspberry Pi people sort of kicked off this bad internet joke thing on Twitter earlier this week. And so people were sending in all kinds of jokes, good and bad, related to technology, nerdy type things. And so Dave submitted his. I'll go ahead and put it up. Now, if you found this anywhere from mildly amusing to hilarious, you are in the right place. This speaks to the community. I thought this was pretty funny. That's why I chose it as the Tweet of the Week. Anyway, congratulations to Dave. Appreciate the joke. And that does it for this week's episode of µNews. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. I know I say it every week, but I really do appreciate the people that subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great week, and we'll see you next week. The people who make who make the Tessel. I'm gonna have to start this over. I've made too many mistakes. So the Raspberry Pi Foundation, I'm gonna start this over. And this Wheats. And that does it for this week's episode. I really appreciate you. Dang it!